What is going on, people? This is the JT Sports Show, episode 35. We are back 2 in 1 week. It's an unusual circumstance, but the NBA is heating up, so we have to do it. Jackson Borst is alongside me again. We're going to talk about the NBA as a whole because you can only talk about the Wolves so much. We'll hit on the Wolves at the end of the episode, talking about tonight's big game against the Lakers. But the NBA is very exciting right now. The Eastern Conference, very top-heavy. But there are some races for the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. But the Western Conference is a whole nother story. Between the 4 and the 13 seed, Jack, 4 or 5 games. I can't remember. 5 games, I think, between the 4 and the 13 seed. Now, the 13 seed's the Thunder. I don't think the Thunder are part of the equation anymore. They've lost 5 straight. They're sitting guys. I'm not sure. They're probably just tanking. And I think the top, like the Suns and the Warriors, those teams are pretty locked. Like they're rolling right now. But we're going to go through our predicted playoff seedings by the end of the year. We're going to compare to each other, see what's different, and then we'll talk about the Wolves after that. But first, I'm going to let you go through your playoff seedings before we show them on the screen. By the way, if you're not watching on YouTube, we have graphics. It'll make it easier to follow along. But what can we expect from your predicted playoff seedings? And good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you too. It's been razor tight like this all season, and it will be from the very last day, which is going to make for some very exciting basketball. Let's see, I have it here. Should I start with the East or the West?
Go ahead with you can read off the screen if you want.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'll start off with the East. Milwaukee, they won 15 in a row.
By the way, where it says +1, +1, -2 under nets, that's like where they are currently and where you have them moving up or down, just for reference.
Yes. Yeah, so Milwaukee, I think they're the best team in the NBA. Yep. They have the best player in the NBA, and they are just rolling right now. I mean, Giannis is playing at an MVP level. Drew Holiday is a star. He's like the best role player / star. You know what I'm talking about. In the league. Middleton, they got Ingles, Bobby Portis. They're the best team in the NBA. Coming in second, the Boston Celtics. Also, probably the deepest team in the NBA next to the Bucks. Second best team in the NBA as well. Brown, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, Al Horford is their starting group. They got Brogdon coming off the bench, Derek White. It's a great team, masterfully built. And that Eastern Conference Finals, presumably, which is what it will be between those two teams, is going to be fireworks. We'll probably go 7 games, and I think home court advantage is going to be huge for that. 3, you got Philly. They had a really good month of February. They haven't been playing great lately.
They've been playing some tough teams. They've been playing close games. Like last night, I know you wanted to rip them a lot. They were coming off a back-to-back where they played the Heat, where they probably felt the Heat game was more important. Joel Embiid he looked disinterested for most of the game, but carry on. Yeah,
they're coming in third. Like I said, they had a really good month of February, but I don't see it. They're not as deep as the top 2 teams. I don't think Embiid plays winning basketball in the playoffs. We all know about Harden's playoff resume. It's terrible. Other than his Western Conference Final appearance with the Rockets, where they probably should have beat the Warriors in 18, but they didn't. He's not a playoff player. And he's only getting older. I will say I'll give him props for he's been better this season. I think he's adjusted his game. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see them upsetting Boston in that second round matchup, or if they play Milwaukee in the second round, I don't see them upsetting them. At 4, we got the Cavs. They started off really good. I think they've just kind of been middle of the road in the East in terms of record the last couple months. But, they got a great backcourt. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. I think they have a bright future, but I think they're probably 1 to 2 years away from an Eastern Conference Final appearance.
That's fair.
At 5, we got the Knicks. They've been the hottest team in the NBA, it seems, other than the Bucks. They've been like the hottest team in the NBA, or at least the Eastern Conference. The last few weeks, Jalen Brunson's been fantastic. I think the series, if this is what it ends up being, I think the 5 versus 4 could potentially be a very good first round series. It seems like New York basketball for the Knicks is kind of, getting back to where it was in the old days, where the arena is really loud and the fans are really into it. And yeah, I don't know. That could get really interesting in that first round series. I think it's a feel good story for the Knicks. Brunson's really good. Yeah, but I don't really think they'll go farther than a first round upset. Number 6, the Heat. Weird season for them. Really, really weird. But at the same time, I don't think anybody wants to play them in a first round series. Jimmy Butler is a winning player. Bam Adebayo is having a great year defensively. They got Hero. I don't know. They just have a lot of guys, but hasn't been a great season. The 3-point shooting's been terrible, and I don't know. They'll be a tough out, but I don't see it for them this year. Number 7, I have the Hawks. The Hawks right now, I think, are the 8th seed. They've massively underachieved. Trae Young has this is big for him this next year and a half. Quinn Snyder, they just brought him in, the former coach of the Jazz, who's like kind of prides himself as being like a program builder. He really kind of likes to start things from the top to make elite teams. He did it with Utah. I don't know. I think that they'll figure it out. I really like DeJounte Murray. I actually think he's a really good player. They have a lot of good depth guys. They've just massively underachieved. I don't really know what it is, but I think they'll figure it out. I think Snyder will get them playing better, and I think they'll beat 7.
Yep.
Number 8, Brooklyn. They traded KD. They got a ton of players back who are like really good role players, like great role players. But I don't know. I just don't really see them. I think they're the 5 or the 6 right now.
They are the 6 right now.
Yeah, they're 6 right now. I think they're going to slide. I think we'll see what happens in the play-in, but I still think that they could make it to the first round if they beat Washington or whoever in the play-in.
Once we go through these, we'll talk more in depth on a few different teams. The Nets are one team I'd like to talk about.
Sure. Number 9, Washington. They've been playing really well lately. This is not where you want to be in the NBA. This is just middle of the road, 9 seed. I think they should have blew it up a while ago. But yeah, they've been playing fine lately. They actually have some good players, but there's no chance you're going to win a title. Or there's no chance you're even going to go 5 games in a first round series. It's just stupid. They need to blow it up. Number 10, Toronto. I don't know why they didn't blow it up. They should have as well. They just have a lot of solid players. Just a weird team, but they underachieved. Toronto really underachieved this year. The West, Denver, best team in the West. No debate. They're fantastic on home court. That's an easy number 1. Jokic is going to win his 3rd MVP. Don't really need to go more in depth on that. Memphis, we both hate them. I don't really know what to say about them. I mean, they had a really bad month of February. And January, too. They've had like a bad 2 months. But they've kind of started to figure it out the last week and a half. I think they'll hold on to the 2. I think they're 2 games ahead of Sacramento, so I think they'll stay. 3, Sacramento. I don't know how they keep winning all these games.
They got an energy behind them where it's like at this point in the season, like maybe a month ago, you'd be like, all right, they might start to slow down a bit. Yeah. I don't think they're going to slow down now.
I don't either.
They're just going to keep winning.
I agree. De'Aaron Fox having a great season. Props to him. Sabonis. I'm going to give it to their front office for what they did the last couple years and really kind of figuring this thing out, making them a competent franchise finally. So I guess shout out to them. But everyone on this list that you see on the right wants to play them in the first round.
Yeah.
Number 4, Phoenix. I mean, they just added KD. They don't have a lot of depth. I don't think they're gonna make it to the finals. I really don't. I don't think they have the depth. And it reminds me of Brooklyn from last season. Kyrie is Booker and KD is KD. And how did that go in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Terribly. You play physical with them, they won't get much. They don't have the depth. Chris Paul is 30, 38, 37, and he has lost a step. That much is evident. I mean, I think they'll probably get by round one, but if they play Golden State, that'd be a heck of a first-round series. I don't know. I'm rooting for Phoenix to lose, that's for sure. Number 5, Golden State. No one wants to play them in the first round. No one wants to play them in the second round. I don't know. I'd keep an eye on that one, especially with Steph coming back. At number 6, I have the Clippers. They have been horrible lately. They are 0-4 since acquiring Westbrook. I don't know why in the hell they did it in the first place.
Yeah.
They're a really deep team, but Paul George is so washed. It's unbelievable. I can't believe he made the All-Star game. It's such a joke. I want to play them. You know this. I want to play the Clippers in the playoffs very badly, but we won't. I'm hoping that they would maybe go to that 7 seed, but I think Dallas is a worse team. So that brings me to Dallas. Last night, they put up Luka and Kyrie combined, put up 82 points, and they still kind of barely won.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I don't think they're going to be a threat in the playoffs. And also last night, their role players were hitting everything. That's never gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be the 7. I think LA will pass them, even though Dallas is at 6 right now. Even though the Clippers have a very tough schedule, I looked at their month. It looks hard.
Yeah.
Dallas has a little bit of an easier schedule, but I ultimately think that this is how it will go to 6, 7. And
Clippers are 7th in strength of schedule the rest of the way. 7th most difficult.
Yes. Like I said, I checked their March schedule, and there's some tough ones on there.
Mm-hmm.
At number 8, I have us. And by the way, with this 6, 7, I would be fine playing either of those teams in the play. I really would. I'd probably rather play the Clippers than the Mavs in the play-in. I texted you that, but I don't know. I guess I'd be happy with either one. We just got to play good defense on the Mavs. Number 8, I have us. I think we'll hold on to this. I'm not very scared of the Pelicans passing us or the Blazers or the Lakers. No LeBron. OKC, like you said, is tanking. I honestly think we could maybe get to 7, but I just think the most likely scenario is 8. And, I guess that's fine, but I don't know. You know how our team is. I'm very scared of a situation. The situation I texted you last night where we play, say, Dallas in the first play-in game.
Yep.
Very hard fought, but Kyrie is Kyrie, and in the fourth quarter, they go up 5 with 2 minutes left, and it's over. I'm very fearful of that. And then it comes back to our place, and it's a massive letdown. New Orleans has Zion back. I don't know. That's just my worst-case scenario. But I think we'll be the 8, which also could go another way, where we maybe lose to Dallas and then we take care of business at home. But at number 9, New Orleans, I just think they have enough talent to just stay there. Brandon Ingram's playing pretty well lately. They got Alvarado. Who else do they have? Herb Jones. I don't know. They're just solid guys. CJ McCollum. I don't know when Zion's coming back, but you'd have to think that it'll take a little time for him to kind of get back in action to really, make a difference. I could say the same thing about Cat too, which is why I have us at 8. Which is why I have us at 8 and not moving up. But I'm very scared of a game against New Orleans if Zion is fully healthy. But whatever. And at 10, I have the Jazz. The Jazz have a very easy schedule the rest of the way. They just play really hard. They haven't gone away all season. I just don't know what that's going to change, especially with Portland. I looked at their schedule, very tough, and they lose to bad teams anyway. I don't care how good Dame is; it doesn't lead to wins. And I actually think the Blazers might just tank, just say there's no point. Let's just try to get in the sweepstakes for a top pick. But you could also say that Utah's going to do that. But like I said, they just won't go away. I don't know if that's So there you have it.
Well, that was a pretty good run through of the entire top 20 teams basically in the NBA. Let's move to mine.
Ooh,
Interesting.
who had us at 6?
Well, let me just go through this real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through as deeply as you did. East, Bucks, Celtics, Sixers. That's pretty self-explanatory. I have the Knicks passing the Cavs. I'm on the Knicks train right now. I just think they're playing unbelievable basketball, and the Cavs are I don't know. They're not impressing me. I'll say that. 6 is Heat. I think they have a fairly easy schedule the rest of the way. They're going to pass the Nets. Hawks 8. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Nets will stay in front of them. They're 3 games ahead of the Hawks, which is a decent amount.
That is a lot
right now. And I'm not sure it's just going to snap like a finger with Quinn Snyder coming in. Raptors, I think they'll be ahead of the Wizards. They're tied right now, but I think they've been playing a little better basketball lately. And Nick Nurse is a solid coach. As for the Western Conference, I think the top 5 seeds are quite honestly self-explanatory. Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Suns, Warriors. I think that's what it is right now, and I think that'll stay that way. Maybe the Warriors pass the Suns. I could see that happening. And then, you see what I have here. The Timberwolves at the 6th seed. They're currently at the 8. I have them moving up 2, and I'll tell you why. Both the Clippers and the Mavs I've watched nearly every game of their last maybe 5-6 games. Neither team has impressed me in the slightest. I'll tell you, the Clippers, they've lost 4 in a row. You mentioned it. They just aren't playing good basketball. I don't know. It's like, well, I was watching the game last night, and it's almost as if they're playing like Houston Rockets basketball in a way. Like Tyronn Lue is a good coach, but he is not. I don't think he's done a good job this year. Last year, he did a great job. This year, it's not that way. It's Paul George is shooting whatever kind of shot he wants. It's like Eric Gordon driving to the basket every play. Norman Powell's way too aggressive. And then that you bring in Russell Westbrook just to make it even more of a mess. The only player they can rely on is Kawhi Leonard. And that
it just makes no sense that they brought him in.
Yeah.
It is so puzzling.
As for the Mavs, I am very down on the Mavericks. I don't care that they beat the Sixers last night. Like I said, the Sixers were on a back-to-back. And they're not going to – you can score 80 points a game with Kyrie and Luka, and you still might not guarantee yourself a win. That's all I need to say. I mean, their defense is horrific. Any team in the NBA can score on them. And they've shown that they haven't figured out late-game offense yet, which is a massive part of playing in the playoffs, as we know.
And all their role guys, like I said, were hitting everything last night. That's not going to stay that way.
So, as much as I think the Wolves can move up to 6, I think it's more about those 2 teams throwing up all over themselves. And I just don't think they're the Clippers have the 7th hardest schedule. Mavs, where are they? They have a fairly easy schedule, but I don't care. I just hate them, and they're playing horrible basketball, and I don't want. I just think they're going to keep moving down. And when the Cat comes back, I do truly think that the Wolves are going to improve a little bit, at least in terms of depth, in terms of offense, and their defense. They have enough good individual defenders that it won't matter as much as it did early in the season, because early in the season, Anthony Edwards wasn't playing the defense he is right now. Jaden McDaniels was fouling at a much higher rate than he is now. And Rudy Gobert was nowhere near as comfortable as he is now defensively.
And we had D'Lo.
That's true. Mike Conley is a smarter and craftier defender than D'Lo. 9. The last 2 are also probably surprises. You don't see the New Orleans Pelicans on here. The Pelicans are another team that I'm not high on at all. I think the Blazers, like you asked, are they going to start tanking? I do not think so. Damian Lillard is on a mission right now. And I know that they have nobody else besides him. Jeremy Grant's fine. Anthony Simons got hurt the other night. I don't know how long he's out. But Damian Lillard is playing great basketball. And I have this right here. How far back are they right now? The Blazers are a game and a half back of the Pelicans. And I can see that changing very quickly. The Lakers are going to also pass the Pelicans.
Okay.
I don't care that they don't have LeBron. If they get D'Lo back, you have enough depth. And I know the Pelicans, they've had the same roster for a while. It's not like they're winning with it. I don't care how much talent you have. I think Willie Green was overblown as how good of a coach he was last year near the end of the year. he has as much disappointed me as he impressed me last year.
Maybe the same could be said about Chris Finch. Just saying.
That's true, but I'm more confident in. Let's see, we can pull this thing back up. There we go. I'm more confident in the players that the Wolves have than what the Pelicans have. Like Brandon Ingram's been playing really well, but they got a lot of guys that I just don't know. It doesn't make sense. His late game, the players he's having on the court rotation wise, like he has Jackson Hayes on the court. Herb Jones can't bring you anything on offensively. Trey Murphy's solid player. I actually like him. But yeah, I don't know. The Pelicans are kind of disgusting to me.
So
a couple of teams I want to go ahead.
So I was just gonna say. So you think we will be the 6th seed?
Yes.
Even with our schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm that low on the Clippers and the Mavericks. I like literally the Mavericks last night were playing a team that had no interest in being there and no interest in playing with energy, and they still almost lost at home when they needed a win. Sixers were not in need of a win. Like they're not as nearly as desperate as the Mavs. And the Mavs shot the freaking lights out of the ball. They were 22 of 26 from 3 to start the game. Or maybe
at
that
home
was their
too.
final.
They're at home too.
Yeah, if Embiid was really locked in and was playing to his capabilities, he would have absolutely torched them. And he still scored 35 points, and I didn't feel that way. A couple of teams I want to get into a little bit. The Brooklyn Nets, you had them moving from 6 down to 8. Mm-hmm. What did I have? I think I have them at the 7. They're a unique team to me. I wouldn't necessarily want to face them in the playoffs. If I was like the Sixers, I think that would be an interesting series. They have enough shooting. They have enough individual defenders. I know that they have been horrible pretty much since the trade went down. But if they can sneak their way into the playoffs, they have enough good players and depth. Like I think Claxton's really good. I think Mikal Bridges is really good. I think Cam Johnson's good. Dinwiddie's not a bad player. Yeah. And then you got a couple streaky, you don't know players like Cam Thomas coming off the bench.
Right.
I'm not saying they're going to win a series. I'm not saying that. But just I think they're streaky. Kind of like the Mavs. I think the Mavs are streaky. I don't think they're a good team. I don't. I think they're streaky. They could win a series. They could miss the playoffs. That's how I feel about the Mavs. That's how I feel about the Brooklyn Nets same way.
The Nets have some great pieces. The funny part about all this is like if the Nets had a star, they'd be like a top 3 seed, and that'd be a team that no one wants to play. That's how good their role guys are.
Let's talk about the Suns real quick. Like I said, I think the Warriors could pass them. I'm just going to bank on the fact that they'll stick where they are. In the playoffs, obviously it's terrifying to play against Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I watched Chris Paul the other night against the Hornets. He is horrible now. He's worse than Mike Conley, and I've watched Mike Conley a few games now. Chris Paul sucks. The only thing he can do is make an easy pass. Sure, he's still a smart player, but nowhere near as gifted athletically as he was even 2 years ago. Chris Paul is not nowhere near this. He might hold them back. I wouldn't be surprised.
And
their depth is miserable. Mm-hmm. Not only do you have Josh Okogie starting, but your best bench player is like, I don't know, Damian Lee, Jock Landale. You got Cam Payne. These guys are all playing big minutes for you. I guess you have Terrence Ross, but he's old as hell. I don't know. The Suns are banking on the fact that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker can take them. And DeAndre Ayton's been playing a little better lately, but they're banking on the fact that those guys can take them to the promised land. I don't think they will. I think they lose probably in the second round. Maybe the first round of the Warriors.
Give Durant 40 and give Booker 40. That's 80 points. You're going to need probably 110 to win a playoff game.
I think if they play the Warriors, they lose in the first round. If the Warriors are healthy, which I would suspect they will be. Yeah. Nuggets, I don't need to talk about them, but Grizzlies are a little interesting to me. I think they will. I could totally see them if, like, let's say the Clippers and let's say somehow my prediction of the seedings are correct. Clippers, Mavs in the first playing game, winner that faces Memphis. I could see one of them beating the Grizzlies.
That'd be sick.
Grizzlies are not good against teams that slow the pace down. That's what the Mavs want to do. That's what the Clippers want to do. So if they can drag them into their slow lull of boring basketball, the Grizzlies could be in danger. But I don't know.
Opposite of us, we're good with that.
Yeah, but to an extent. I don't want to go up and down. I wouldn't want to go up and down the court with the Grizzlies. The games we won in the playoffs last year were the games where there were a million free throws and it was slowed down. Like game 2 when we got pummeled is because the Grizzlies were going up and down the court. I know that we're fine playing that way, but against the Grizzlies, they're like the best at it, and so it's scary. Any other teams you want to talk about before we move on to tonight's game? Maybe
the Clippers thing is just really interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean,
how far?
Russell Westbrook, you watched the game last night. They were leaving him completely wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond Green after the game said there gets to a point where like you're taught in basketball to shoot when you're open, but when you're left that open, you start questioning yourself. And that's honestly a smart way to go about guarding Russ because he's not going to just start making wide open shots. He has enough. He's proven that he can't make wide open shots consistently. So I'd rather have him shooting than Kawhi on a contested shot. So that's smart of teams to just let Russ shoot. But
just such a detrimental add to their team.
I was like, when they signed him, when they signed him, I was like, all right, well, I don't hate the signing because I'm assuming that he's not going to play late game.
I liked it as a Wolves fan.
I seriously thought he could help them off the bench. If he could play 25 minutes a night, but not play the last 6-7 minutes of the game, he can be good. Like he was pretty solid on the Lakers off the bench, but he is absolutely hurting them in crunch time, and we saw it firsthand when we played him. Yeah. And Paul George is, I don't know, like you'd think he was horrible last night. He hasn't been as bad as you think. His shooting splits are basically the same as Anthony Edwards. I was looking at it.
Well, hold on. Ant had a bad few games, so you gotta throw that out.
No, like Paul George is at where Anthony Edwards was.
Yeah, but like where he was before.
Yeah, like he's shooting 38% from 3. He's shooting 46%.
Probably less volume.
Pretty same volume. I can look, but like Paul George hasn't been that bad. He's not a bad player.
He's washed.
He's all right, so he's shooting 45%, 45.7, 37.8, and that was after last night's game. 45%. Ant is 45.8, 36.3. So
what was that? What was that pre-All-Star break? That's what I care about.
Yeah, it was a little higher around where Paul George is at. So I don't know.
Ant was at like 46 and like 37.
Pretty much where Paul George is at.
He's 38. Whatever. Whenever I see George, I don't think it's going in. I don't think it's going in.
He's pretty streaky, but I don't know. I'd rather face like I texted you last night. If we had to choose a play-in opponent, if we were on the road, I would choose the Clippers. If we were at home, I'd rather face the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are worse. So, like, if we were at home and I got to choose, I would choose the Mavs. But on the road, the Clippers don't have a home court advantage. So I'd choose the Clippers. Let's talk about tonight's game, the Lakers and the Wolves. This is an interesting one, a big one. This can hurt, like, really hurt the Lakers in the playoff standings. No D'Lo, no LeBron. Their point guard is Dennis Schroeder. Their backup point guard is nobody. It's Austin Reeves, most likely. So if you can win the minutes with when Dennis Schroeder and Anthony Davis are on the court, you're going to win the game because those are basically their only offensive punches, maybe Malik Beasley. But Vanderbilt's not going to do much offensively. It's going to be if you can shut down Anthony Davis, which we talked about the other night. I'm not sure who you put on Anthony Davis. Dane and Britt yesterday on their podcast were saying it's most likely they'll do the old-fashioned Kyle Anderson on Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert spy. It has worked. It has worked, and teams have had success doing that against AD. It's like we've done that to Jokic when we had all of our pieces. We did it to Jokic, and it worked in the first game at home against the Nuggets. Because Anthony Davis is just so much more. He can move so much better than Rudy Gobert. I think he would sort of torch him. But if you could put Kyle Anderson, a more athletic player, Kyle Anderson, athletic, don't really go together. But he's just, I don't know, he's small, he's quicker than Rudy Gobert. Put him on, Rudy can spy, guard Jared Vanderbilt, because Vando's not going to shoot the ball. I think that's the way to do it. And then I think you put Jaden on Dennis Schroeder probably. Ant on Malik Beasley maybe.
Why don't we put Jaden on Davis?
He's too small. The only player I've seen Jaden have success against that's that big is Julius Randle, because he has guarded Julius Randle really well in the past, but AD is another animal. I don't know. I'd rather have Kyle on him and sort of Rudy help, and then have Jaden on Schroeder, Ant on Beasley, and maybe Conley on Troy Brown. But who knows what they'll do with those three perimeter guys. Either way, I'm not sure how the Lakers are going to guard the Wolves. I don't know who they can put on Anthony Edwards.
They'll put Vando.
That's true. Sorry. Vando. Besides that, I don't know how they're going to guard the Wolves. I don't know who they put on. They're going to probably put AD on Rudy, and then maybe Schroeder on Mike Conley. I just hope the Wolves try and attack Malik Beasley. If you can do that, you'll have success. He is a miserable defender. He causes steals, and he makes loud, flashy plays that makes you think he's not that bad of a defender, but he is horrible. So if you can put him in pick and rolls and put Malik Beasley switched on to Anthony Edwards, good night. That's how you win this game. What do you think they win the game tonight?
I think we're going to win. I mean, it kind of has all the makings of a letdown, but I honestly think I just think the urgency will be there. If we play the way we did in that
I don't think there will be letdowns. I think when you play the Lakers in Los Angeles, you get up for it.
Yeah, I think if we play the way we did against the Clippers in that first half, I think we'll be fine.
God, I would love to see them come out with a very good defensive energy. You know, it's like when you know that they are in. It's all about their defense, whether you know they're locked in or not. It's not about their offense, because their offense looks the same most of the time. It's their defense. If they can come out locked in and sustain it for at least 3 quarters, the game will be out of hand because the Lakers don't have enough firepower. So we'll see.
What we don't want is Vando getting every single offensive rebound.
No, we don't. But hopefully our players know that you can't allow Vando to do that. We've seen it enough.
Same with Davis, too. We got to rebound the ball tonight.
When the Wolves are locked in defensively, they can be a top 5 defense in the NBA nightly. It is a thing with the perimeter defense and interior defense that they have. You can do that. So let's hope they do it. They're 1.5 point underdogs. I'm not sure why. I would have thought they might be favorites. It's not like Los Angeles is a scary place to go in and play, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not reading into that.
And then they play the Sacramento Kings tomorrow night.
Both coming off back-to-back.
Yeah. My thoughts on that game will probably change based on how tonight's game goes. If we lose tonight, then tomorrow
we want Sacramento to win tonight. They're playing LA.
Yeah. Yeah. And we want the Warriors to beat the Pelicans tonight. We want the Thunder to beat the Jazz, even though I'm not scared of them. Anything else? Wouldn't hurt to see the Hawks beat the Blazers, and it wouldn't hurt to see the Bulls beat the Suns. I just like watching Western Conference teams lose. All right.
The big one is Sacramento, LA, and us, obviously.
Yes, Sacramento, LA, and Warriors, Pelicans. Yes, pretty big too. Yes. And they're all late night, all 9 o'clocks, and we're 9:30. It's gonna be a late one. Oh, that's a late one.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll be back next week to talk about whatever happens this weekend and throughout the whole NBA. maybe we'll revisit our playoff seeding
Oh, yeah.
predictions when we get near the end of the season to see how wrong or right we were. You are more of the chalky, more realistic. I think I took a couple stands on teams like the Mavs and the
And the
Pelicans.
Wolves, which hopefully that comes true.
Hopefully it comes through. I'm optimistic in general. So thanks everybody for listening. Please follow the channel. Go like and subscribe to the JT Sports Show. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. I'm starting to try to post more TikToks, but we'll see how that lasts. Thanks everybody for listening, but go Wolves and have a good day.